morning, good evening, depending on when and where you're watching this video. Welcome back to your Laravel tutorial class. So in our last class, we were able to install Laravel. We were able to know the structures of Laravel and go through it. So in this class, we are going to be returning something in the view and starting our server. So we get started with Laravel. Okay, so let's dig into it. So first of all, we created the Laravel project right in our last class. So we are going to open the Laravel class. Okay. So this is it. It's opened. We stop at the .env. It's open. So now the first thing we need to do, or the next thing we need to do, is this. Now looking at this, everything seems okay, but we want to return a view. Now let's first of all, now that we've created it, first of all, start your server. Now in PHP, to start your server, or to run the starting of server means displaying your code on the browser. You just go there. As far as your XAMPP is on, you just go to the browser, you type localhost / your folder name / your file name, and it's showing. But in Laravel, you have to start a server to show your project on the browser. So what is the first thing you do? In your terminal, if you're using VS Code, just come to here where you can see where my cursor is. Click on one of them. I think the second one, to give you a terminal, or somewhere here you get a terminal, or from this place. Okay, at the top you can see a new terminal. You click on it. So once your terminal is open, down here type php anti-serve. Now this will start your server for you. Let's assume your system is not configured by default, that if there is already a port being used, it will go for another port. If your system is not like that, it will give you an error. Let's say there's another port running. Let me explain what I mean by port. Okay, so now that this port is running on, you can see that our server is on, our project is running on port 8000. Let me say I open another Laravel project so you understand. And if I try to start this server, php anti-serve, this is our two Laravel projects starting at the same time. Do you see how mine is configured? It shows that failed to listen to port 8000, address already in use. Now some of your own is not like that. Once you run it and this port by default port 8000 that it starts with is in use, it will give you an error, and you start running up and down. I'm having an error. No, it's because this port is in use, and because the system is not configured to skip it and go to another port, it gives you an error. So the way to do that is come back. If it gives you an error, let's Control C will take you out from this server. Now you type php. Let me see if I can get php anti-serve. I think is port. Then I think this is being written. It's been long. Then you write the port. If it's 8000 is already in use, you can use 8001. As far as it's up to 4. Okay. So so how am I supposed to write this port? Okay. So let me see if I know it's something like this. But I am sure that the command I'm writing is not just correct. As I told you, let's make research on Google. Okay. Let's see what Google has to give us. Okay. You can see it here. One can specify the port with php anti-serve port equals to this thing you want to do. Okay, so I got the command wrong. So you do this 2 ports, then equals to that port you want it to start with. Let's say we use 8080. You can also use 8081. Your server is started on port 80. So now if you command click or copy it, okay, say database file path does not exist. So now this is the reason why we are getting this. If you come to .env, it is saying that we gave it a database name Laravel, and such database does not exist. And I think we have a database some time ago. Okay, awesome. My XAMPP is actually off. I restarted my system. So let's locate our XAMPP and get it on. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. So start up. It's starting. Oh wow, I didn't expect it to take this long, but let's wait a little bit. Okay, it's now running. Close it. Refresh your local host. It's showing. So I think we have a database some time ago. Zuri. Okay, we have a database called Zuri. So let's name it Zuri. Zuri. Oh shit, what is this? Zuri. I think this is okay. You come back here, we run it. Oh, okay. Database file path. Okay. So let's go back. Let's run a migration to migrate these tables that is already in the migrations and know if it gives us an error. So to my these are already tables that's already defined. We are not making a new migration yet. So once you've created the migrations and put all the columns in the tables, the next thing is to run migration so that you go and store in your databases as a table. So to do that, you say php anti-san. You must start your any command with php anti-san. Then php anti-san migrate. Okay, SQL database configure for this application does not exist. So I think we have, is this not Zuri? So why did it say it does not exist? Okay, let's try saying yes. Would you like to create it? Yes. It is created. I mean, is this some sort of joke? Do you have to Zuri database here? Okay, I think what it means is maybe the tables or whatever it is has not been created. So let's go back here, refresh. Okay, another issue. Where is this coming from again? Select everything from sessions. Okay. Okay. Why don't we do this? Okay, okay. Oh, okay. I get it now. So the DB connection is showing SQLite, which is not supposed to be. Okay, when I was creating this project, I defaultly choose SQLite. I was supposed to choose MySQL. Okay, that's the actually the reason. Let me open another laravel project. Should MySQL. I mean, I was wondering, there is a jury there and it keeps telling us. Okay, I think everything is okay now. Already exists, so it already exists. So if we run this, okay, another Zuri sessions. Okay, so let's go back and create a new table than all these issues we're having here. I would like to drop this table, this database. It's doing nothing for us, by the way. Okay, so let's create another database. Call it learning. Okay, let's copy it actually. Create. Oh, it already exists. Okay. Teaching. Okay. So teaching now we've been created. we paste this here. So we run the migration again, it works. So let's come back to this place. Okay, seems the issue has been settled. So all we were having issues was the database issues and all of that. So that being sorted out, so once you start your server and come to this place, this is what you see. So once you start your PHP artisan serve, it returns this for you. Server running here, just click on this or copy it and paste on your browser. You're supposed to see this. As long as the database is there, you run your migration. This is it. So now what you are seeing here is this file in the view. What you are seeing here is open your resources folder. If you want to see your view, go to resources folder, open the views. What you are seeing is this file in the view. So let's alter it a little bit. There's laravel. Let's write some silly stuff. There's dashboards, right? Okay. Let's look for something and write some silly stuff in there. So here there is a documentation. Now let's go back and refresh. Where is the documentation? See documentation. Look at the things you write. So that's to say that is that place, that view, welcome view. That's what you are seeing here, right? Okay, so now we want to return a message to the view, right? From our route to controller, then to the view. So first of all, we have to go to the route. Now open your route folder. You can see the route folder. Open it. Go to the web. As I told you, the web.php is meant to used to write routes for the web applications. So comment down here. First of all, you don't have a controller yet. So let's create a controller. How do you create a controller? You write a command php artisan make. Whatever you want to do, you start with make, whether creating of migration, models, and every other necessary, whether email request, everything, you start with make. Column controller. Then the name of that controller. Now, whatever it is you are creating, whether a student controller, you have to start with what student, then add controller. And the controller starts with a capital letter C. The student starts with a capital letter S. Student controller. PHP artisan make controller, student controller. Now it has been created. So in the route, we are going to write a route. So how do you write a route? Understand this. Do not cram it. Understand it. First of all, you put what? You write a route. Colon. The next thing is to write the method. In your PHP, core PHP, when you are creating a form, maybe you used to put the method, whether it's a post method or a get method. Now here, you put the method in the route. When you write a route, what is the method? Now check it. We are trying to return something to the view. Are they going to fill a form? No. We are just getting something and returning it here to the view. So the big simple method you're supposed to use here is the get request. Now get. Open your bracket. Now the next step to do after you've put in your method, the next thing to do is to put in a unique name that when the user go to the browser and type that name, they will now see what you want to return to them, right? In a single quote or double quote, any of your choice. I'm using single quotes. So I want them to see view. Okay, let's say see details or user, right? They will be seeing user /user. Now that is not what I want them to see. That is where I want them to redirect to see what I want to return. Now if you want to return view directly in the route, you can use comma, then function, just like the first one that is written here. We are returning view directly from the route. But now in our case, we are not returning view directly from the route. We want to direct it to the controller and return the view from the controller, right? So now how do we do that? We have put in the URL that we redirect to. The next is to put the controller. How do you write the controller? You first of all open your square brackets. Now write the name of the controller, which is students controller. Student controller. After you write a student controller, it is a class. Now colon class, comma, the name of the method. Now I know you guys learned OP. in PHP. That is creating of a method using OOP, right? You have to create a method or a function, whatever name you call it. Function and method is the same thing. So now that you've pointed the route to when they go to /user, it will take them to a controller called student controller. Now in one controller you have many methods. You can have many functions. I prefer to call it a method. You can have a method for get user, a method for get change password, a method for register user, many methods. So if they go into the student controller, which method is he returning for them or is he running for them? You have to call the name of that method. So comma get, the method that will be get user. Aside you do this semicolon. Now there's something called naming routes. That one you get to make use of it as you go on in terms of creating form, accepting user input. You get to use that one more. So now you can see that under student controller you are seeing a red sign. Okay, that is because this class has not been imported. A controller is a class, so you have to import it at the top, and you cannot just come and start writing it manually. So what you are going to install to help you, I think, is PHP IntelliFence. You can see it here, IntelliFence. Install IntelliFence in this VS Code. If you go to external extension, I think if you type IntelliFence, yes, you can see I already installed mine, PHP IntelliFence. And you can also look for laravel and so many other extensions for laravel to install. So once it is installed, come to this student controller is showing red. Hold your controller. Oh, sorry, if it's model, if it's Mac, hold your controller and click. You will see import a class, right? You can even see format your document. But if it's I think if it is Windows, right clicking will do. So import, click on import class. You can see it has been imported at the top. Now it went through the app, go into the HTTP and inside the controller and create this. If I wanted it to have a different folder inside the HTTP, I could have, when I'm creating this, I will do, instead of student controller directory, I will do another, the name of the controller, the name of the folder I want it to be inside / then the controller. So but let's leave it like this. Now we have created a route, and that route is pointing to where student controller, and inside the student controller is pointing to where the get user method. Now let's copy this get user method. Now let's go to the student controller. Hold on to this. If it's Mac, command click takes you into the student controller. Here you are. Now create a method. It must have, that method must be this name, else you have an error. Public function. You paste your method. If this method has already been created, just copy the name and put it in the right. Make sure that the name here matches the method here, because that's where it takes them to. Now this is how you create your function. You are all set. You want your controller. Now how do you return something to the view? I want us to return a view. Now let's say return. To return a view inside the method, write return view. Then view is a function. The name of that view. Now come to this place. Inside your resources, open your views. You have only welcome.blade.php. That is not the view we want to return, so we have to create another view. Abi, inside the view folder, right click to create a new file. Call it user. It must have an extension of .blade.php. .blade.php. View files are called blade files in Laravel. You have created it. So now how do we return it? It will now become return a view is already by default calling this view. You now call the view name, which is user. Leave it like that. Okay. Now go into the user. Doc HTML default structure. User. I want us to have a head one. You can see it's the same thing as you are writing the HTML in your core PHP. Hello. Okay, so this is what we are going to be returning now. Or let's write a paragraph. Let's add a paragraph and say, how are you coping? Or let's just leave it like that. Okay, so this is what we've done. Let's go to, actually my system, if I create a new route and I don't do a catch, it might not see it. So to do that, in case it happens on your own, you create a route, you go to the view to access it, and you're seeing not found, just type php antis routes column catch. This is it. So let's copy the route, which is user. Let's go over to this place. You can see it here. So do slash user. You can see we've returned something to the view. I mean, this is not that hard. It's just the same thing as your PHP. The same code, just the structure. I mean, you just follow the conventions and you're good to go. So I really hope you're able to understand something. Please make sure you try this out. Create a route, create a controller, return something in your view. In our next class, you're going to dive into the main coding. So please, you're expected to practice this. If possible, practice more. Try to create a form in the view. Try to let the user fill the form. Try to register them in the database and all of that. Then we can get started from there in our next class. Okay, so thank you guys, and I wish you good luck in your tech journey.